Hello, everyone. These are notes from section 11.3. We're going to continue looking at circles. There are some definitions and additional examples in your textbook. I would suggest you take a look, page 764, and then also on page 766. All right. The first thing I want to talk about, I have two formulas up on the top here. I would think you probably have seen these formulas before. You may not have remember them, but they should look familiar. The first formula here is the formula for the area of a circle. Okay, so A equals pi r squared. All right. The second formula I have over here is for circumference. Circumference equals 2 pi r. All right, so both of these formulas, you're going to basically need the radius. All right, the area, again, would refer to all the space inside the circle. The area is always in square units. I know that sounds kind of weird because it's a circle, but it's still area, always in square units. So in this example, it would be inches squared. All right, the circumference is similar to like the perimeter of other shapes that we've talked about. Perimeter means we would add up the sides around the outside of the figure. Technically, a circle doesn't have any sides, so we can't say it has a perimeter. So we use the word circumference. So the circumference would be the distance around the circle. And again, that distance would be in inches or feet or things like that. Okay. So first, let's just kind of practice finding the area and circumference. You can practice with your calculator. Find the pi button on your calculator. Okay, most calculators have one, so we'll look around and see if you can find it. All right, so if I was going to find the area of the circle that I have pictured here, my area equals pi, and then my radius squared. So in this figure, we look at our radius. Again, the radius always goes from the center to the edge. The radius in the circle is 12, so I would have 12 squared. All right. Pi is going to be a repeating decimal, okay? So again, hit your pi button on your calculator. Because our answers are going to be decimals, we are going to round to the nearest tenth, which is what we usually do when we're rounding. All right, so if you have your calculator with you there, I will go ahead and try this. We need pi times 12 squared. All right, I am looking at 452.389 and a bunch of other digits. So again, to the closest tenth, I'm going to say 452.4. And again, area is always in square units. So in this figure, it would be inches squared. And that would be my area of the circle. Again, all the space inside. All right. For circumference, again, there's our formula up there. We've got 2 pi times the radius. So again, our figure here, we can see the radius is 5 centimeters. Okay, so again, on your calculator, we're going to take 2 times pi times 5. All right, and again, round to the closest tenth. I have 31.4. All right, and this is just what we refer to as a linear measurement. Like if I were to wrap a tape measure around there, so we would say that would be 31.4 centimeters for my circumference. All right. Okay, so these formulas we're going to use to talk about the two new things in this section, and that would be what we call sector area. Okay, you see the word area there, and arc length. Okay, now we found in the previous unit, we found the measurements of arcs in degrees. So that's one way you can talk about an arc measure. The other way is to talk about it in, again, a measurement like inches or centimeters. Okay, so let's take a look first of all at the formula. This is the formula for what is referred to as sector area. Okay, and you can still see the pi r squared just like in our formula for area above. Okay, the difference is if I'm trying to find a sector area, as you see in this figure here, I don't want all of the inside of the circle. Okay, that would be the area, would be everything inside. A sector area means I only want just this little piece of the pie. Okay, so what is the area of just this little piece? Okay, so like I said, you still use the formula for area, but since it's not the whole thing, we only want a fraction of it. You see this fraction here. How much of the circle do we want? We know an entire circle is 360 degrees. How much of it do you want? Okay, so whatever measurement of the arc is that you want, that will be the fraction of the area that you need. Okay, so pi r squared, and what fraction of the circle do you want? All right, so this is how it's going to look when you plug it in the formula. All right, we have pi. We have our radius squared. So in this figure, you can see my radius is 16. Okay, and then what part of the circle is this? So m, like how many degrees of the whole circle do we want? You can see right here, this little arc here is 36 degrees. So I want 36 out of the entire circle, which we know is 360. Okay. Now, calculator wise, again, you're going to find your pi button, and you can pretty much just punch it in. I'm going to start with pi times 16 squared times 36 divided by 360, or you can use the fraction button if you'd like. Okay, so you can try that and see if you get the same answer I do. So I've got pi times 16 squared, okay, times 36 divided by 360 is how I'm going to enter that in there. And again, because of the pi, we're going to get a lot of decimal answers. We're going to round to tenths. Okay, so I have 80.4. Okay, again, my unit was inches, and we still are talking about area, so it would be inches squared. All right, so just this portion of the circle would have an area of 80.4 inches squared. All right. Okay, this figure here, again, we're going to talk about arc length. Okay, and again, that's related to the circumference. So again, you'll notice that the first part of the formula, L, stands for arc length. You'll see 2 pi r, which was basically, this is the formula for circumference. Circumference goes all the way around the circle. Again, we're not looking for the entire circumference. We're only looking for, in this case, this tiny little part right here. Okay, so again, you see the formula for circumference, and you see that fraction again. What part of the circle, how much of the circle do you want? How many degrees out of the 360? Okay, so in our figure here, like I said, we're just trying to find what would be the length. Again, if I measured this with like a little tape measure from G to H. All right, so looking at our formula, looking at our figure, we just start plugging our numbers in. So we have 2 times pi times our radius, which is 6. Okay. How much of this circle do we want? This little arc right here is 40 degrees. So I only want 40 out of the 360 degrees. That's the fraction of the circle I want, just this little part right here. All right. And again, practice on your calculator. Here we go. 2 times pi times 6 times 40 divided by 360. All right, and I have, again, rounding to tenths. I'm going to say 4.2 because it says 4.188. And my unit of measure, this is meters. So again, this is just a linear measurement, just meters. Area is always units squared. All right. So that's all I have for you. Like I said, there are additional examples on page 764 and 766. I think they do 2 more of the area and 2 more of the arc length if you wanted to take a look at those figures as well. All right. And that's what you're going to be doing on your homework. You can do it just like I did here. Look at your formulas, substitute in your values, and you can round your answers to tenths like I did in our examples. The book, I do believe, says leave your answers with pi, but I do want you to go ahead and punch in the pi button on your calculator so you can have numerical answers. All right. So good luck with that. And again, as always, if you have any questions, please let me know.